We're going live. I see the bitrate is going up. Things are working, Chloe. It's like magic. Magic. Hold on. Before we do the, I gotta do one thing.
Oh, things are changing. Good. What are you doing?
I just switched my hat around because we're getting official.
Okay.
There we go.
We're good?
Yeah, I think everybody seems to be happy. We're good. Take it, Chloe.
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We profusely apologize for whatever the heck that was. We went to test and it didn't work, and then we went to this and it didn't work, and then Chris did something on his end down in Seattle, and we went back to test and it worked, and now we're live. So, welcome everybody to week 13 of Early Access with Savage Lands. I am your community manager, Kittychix, through the interwebs that way. You have your game director, Chris Ruby or Euryidium. And welcome. Chris, say hello.
Hello, interwebs. I'm a little amped up today. This is like the 4th or 5th cup of coffee. We're good to go. I've been up since 5 in the morning.
This is not going to go well. I'm sorry, you've been up since 4:30?
5 in the morning.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't even play any games when I woke up either, which is even. I just sat there and I looked at my phone. But anyway,
that's awesome.
let's go forward. Let's talk about the awesome that was just released at 10 a.m. Pacific time this morning on the Steam servers, right? There was a lot of awesome. Would you guys agree? Game update number 9, right, Chloe? 9? 10. 10, yes. Game update 10. I got 10 fingers. Game update 10. We got this. I'm sorry, guys. I get really confused easily.
That's why you have me to remind you how to run your life, what to do, where to show up, and what update number we're on, most importantly.
Remember that, developers.
So shall we go through what actually got added?
Yes, actually. Let me navigate to the forums, because I actually don't keep that stuff in front of me on this particular machine. So this is the official public server machine as well. So we do host a server now.
That's true.
Which is super awesome. So what do we have? Lots and lots of bug fixes. We fixed some issues with armor not appearing, compass disappearing. We've kind of gone through that. You guys are pretty happy. Kerr now attacks players. I'm sure you guys in beta, it's not too bad. He only maybe will kill you in like the first pass, but you guys know me. I like to tune things, so this is kind of an organic thing that we do. So give it about 2 more updates, and he'll be in a good place. I'm also there's a few tweaks I want to make to Kerr and the time that he kind of pings out and searches for people. So other than that, hopefully he's killing people, and hopefully he's doing a really good job. I love the dragon, so.
I have to just interject here because, so I went to test Kerr as soon as we went to beta. That was all fine, lovely. And then Sean and I were doing some testing, which required us, for bug fixes and whatnot, which required us to be back on the old build. So I had to drop out of beta. And I was running around getting ready to go help test and saw Kerr fly overhead and nearly crapped myself because I was like, oh my god, he's gonna get me. He's not gonna kill me because I'm not on the build that actually has the dragon. So look for the skies. If anybody knows the reference from James Cameron's Avatar, Turok: The Last Shadow, if you see the dragon shadow, you're probably already burning.
I listen for the wings because the wings have 3D audio emitters, so you can kind of hear them from a distance, and they come flapping in. It would be great to have him recite something like, I am fire, I am death, you now die.
Considering how much trouble, oh my god, whoever the director is for Lord of the Rings has had with the family of Tolkien, I don't think we should do that. They might get a little angry with us.
Maybe.
Although I guess when we could send who would win, Kerr or Smaug?
That'd be an epic battle.
Would be. Okay. Anyways, sorry. Let's continue.
All right. So as Chloe and I get back on track, so a lot of good fixes went into this update. We made some tweaks to shadows. I'll give you more flexibility in how you display shadows in the world. So hopefully you guys will be able to optimize the game a bit more. In the next update that we're working on, we made a few more tweaks. Will hopefully help give you a frame or 2 or 3 or 4 back. So we're slowly but surely optimizing. Remember, we are early access. I wish we were, 2 years, 3 years already released. That way our game would be fully optimized, but it's not. As you guys know, I'm going to tell you there's bugs. There's bugs. But we appreciate all of you playing the game and helping us find this stuff. Next update, let me guys give you a sneak peek at some of the cool stuff we've been working on. Hold on, let me go through my head because I don't have the list in front of me. I just did a bunch of stuff yesterday too. This is a big one, and I just put in the first phase of item decay. Now, it's not a detrimental system. Keep in mind, guys, I'm not making this. This is not designed to be some type of penalty to you. It is to help us with performance. So what does the first phase of item decay mean? Things like food, sticks, and some other basics that we'll have listed up in the forums shortly will essentially just decay out of the world if they're not in your inventory after 40 minutes. So that's phase 1. And that means if they're, a lot of people I've been in many worlds where sticks are lying all over the place. So after 40 minutes, we're basically going to do a cleanup and get rid of those sticks. If you have a strong box or you have bags, anything inside your inventory is going to be safe, or inside a strong box will be safe. So I'm just throwing that out there right now. Now, against every fiber in my being, I added in stacking for logs. I think
now hang on.
It took me a long time to click the button to submit that, by the way. But
ladies and gentlemen, this is world history, world breaking news. Chris has been screaming against this idea from before we even went to alpha. Long before this ever came on to the concept, he was so against this. What does log stacking mean?
So
where will you be able to stack?
You'll be able to stack them in your inventory.
And how many?
All right, so keep in mind I can take this feature away at any moment. I'm still reeling inside about it, but I want to test it. Basically, you'll be able to stack 2 logs. That's as far as I went, because I didn't want to get out of control. I know some MMORPGs allow you to stack like 20. I really, I wanted to listen to the community on this one. I know we got asked. I know hardcore guys will say, "What are you doing, Rubior?" Newer players will be like, "Oh, this is amazing." Let's just see where this goes, and there could be changes down the road, and I will preface it with that. So maybe we'll get in the ability to put logs into a wood shack, and then I can put logs back to having individuals, which would be my ideal dream. But for now, I've threw you guys a bone. You can stack logs. I've also increased the stack sizes of many items across the board. So
and that was something that a lot of people have been asking for. And we started that in update 10 with the radiant gems all of a sudden being 15?
Yeah, 25 I think now.
Oh, okay. What else, if you remember any of them, what else have you increased? Do you remember?
Let's see. Ore, stone. Many of the components now stack at higher capacities. So
awesome.
So which is good. Yeah, gems are 25. It just seemed to make sense. When I look at stuff logically, I try to think, okay, it's a very small stone. For example, like amber's really small. So I'm like, yeah, it makes sense that you could have 25 of those in a pouch. Now, it doesn't make sense that you'd have 2 logs in a pouch. But I will concede on some of the fantasy. But smaller things.
There's this thing called logic, and then there's game logic.
There's game logic. And as a designer, I understand both. So, and for game logic and gameplay, that's why I had stacking of 2. But believe it or not, that's 2 per slot. So that's 30 logs now that you can put into a bag. Now you times, 30 by 8. That's like, what, 240 if my math is correct?
Right, but that also assumes that you're not carrying anything else with you.
You could have... that's true.
I'm just providing the other side of the argument.
So anyway, play with the guys. there's stuff there. I talked to Jackie. This is something I really want to get in on friendly servers. You'll be able. I want to be able to allow players to see Steam IDs from across the map, so that you guys can easily find each other. Now that's for co-op friendly. That's not for PvP because I don't think it makes sense for PvP. But for playing on a friendly server, I think it totally makes sense to keep track of your friends or just players in general that are playing. It seems kind of silly not to. So she thinks it's going to be relatively easy to do, and hopefully that's something we can do, and that'll make it into the next update. We'll post that more. The update's still kind of relative. It's not huge. You know, we try. That's the thing about doing an update every week or every 2 weeks is they're not always necessarily going to be super huge, but you know, we try to get some good stuff in there for you guys. I've also done some tuning to the creatures in the start area near Argo. I'm adding in some new props. I'm going to put in a new dragon tower today near Argo. It has stairs, so you guys will see that for the first time, but I'm not going to let you go to the top just yet. There's reasons, but you'll be able, it's a first pass at getting cool stuff in. So expect to see some really cool stuff. I'm redesigning that first dragon area, and then I'll propagate it out to the other two towers. What else? We got some other cool stuff in the works. Hopefully in the future, Daddies, character customizer, a lot of cool stuff that we've been talking about. So shields, yes, I would love to have shield skulls. I really would. Yeah, we'll see where that lands, but it's on the list of things to get in. Just don't know when that's going to fit. We got to redo our schedule one more time to make sure we get the right things on in the plan. So with that, you guys will have an update tomorrow on all the cool stuff that we'll be adding.
Yes, an update for the preview.
Yes,
which,
preview.
As everybody knows, may change. We normally add at least 1 or 2 updates before we go live.
Yeah, I'd love to we're working on some new creatures too in time, not right away. Rabbits, I'd like to get birds in, the forest gremlins that you guys saw with Nate many streams back, and we're going to have goats. Out of control. And then I'm also working on these spirit wolves. I ran into a couple hiccups, but I got to, and it's mostly with the armor that drops and stuff like that. But I'll get the spirit wolves in, and they'll be roaming around at night, and they look really cool. I have light emitters on them, and they're super awesome. They're actually my favorite creature right now. That's not in the game. So, all right, with that,
eventually you'll
goats,
get them in.
Exactly.
You'll stop being able to talk about them, and then you can be like, oh god, I've made them too hardcore, and I must rebalance them.
The goats are out of control, these goats.
Oh my god, the goats are everywhere.
All right, I'm going to host up a game, Chloe.
Goat lands.
The goat lands. In a harsh, brutal world ruled by goats and the dragon.
All right, so before anybody else starts freaking out, why don't you go ahead and start your game?
Starting the game now.
And what are you going to be doing today?
I actually thought, and you guys are ready, who's ready to go on an epic adventure across the island? We're going to make our way to the ruins where Helion spawns.
Actually, that lands us with a great question. We asked you either last stream or the stream before Helion got put in. Does the ruin, or do the ruins that Helion spawns in have a name?
Hold on, this doesn't look right. I gotta kick people. Hold on, everybody. I loaded up the wrong level. Sorry. I had something all set up, and look, I go mess stuff up. All right. So.
Did you actually spawn in the location that you want to go to?
I have 2 stream worlds, and this one for today is a new stream world.
Gotcha. All right, so I still have my question ready and waiting for you.
All right, let me just hold on. I got to focus while it loads.
Focus.
Focusing, I'm making sure it's loading. We are good. I am by fire. All right, everybody, I'm in Argo, so let's assemble the troops, the ragtag band of kind of pseudo furies. Let's do this. All right, hey, Chloe, ask away.
My giveaway thing is working again this week. Awesome. Yay, we get to do the giveaways properly. Okay, so again, the location that Helion is spawning in is just a ruined area, but do they have a name? Are they simply known as the north or western ruins? I can't remember.
I've been going back and forth on names for the ruins where Ragnok spawns and the ruins where Helion spawns, and I haven't settled on anything yet. So
okay,
that's
TBD.
That's TBD. Still TBD. Along with the names of each of the different towers, because I actually have We're going to have 3 visually different towers is my goal. And each one of those towers will have a unique name. Again, TBD. I haven't come up with a name for it yet, but in time. Oh.
All right. Well, it is what it is. Okay. So, you are waiting for people to join you.
Yep.
And I'm going to start asking you questions. So the first question comes from Chow Mein. And he was asking, I've actually already answered him in chat, but I'm going to answer it again here. He was asking if Kerr's new attack is live to the public beta, or to the public servers as it was on beta. Yes, as of this morning, that's what we were talking about earlier. You can, or you will have to watch for the flap of the dragon's wings or his roar. If you're hearing it, you better be running. Now, can you, Chris, you had some experience with this that you were talking about last week on the stream, where you were able to duck into a building and therefore break his line of sight. What other ways can you actually break Kerr's line of sight? Because, of course, he can see you from being up in the sky, so even if you're hiding behind a tree, it doesn't necessarily mean that you haven't actually aggroed him.
Correct. So you could be in some of the thick trees. The thing is, if you're out in the open, I don't want to give too much away about how the AI works, because I'm one of those crazy old school devs that doesn't like to talk about the technical details, and then it'll give away, and then you guys will be able to min-max him and all sorts of crisp. Anyway, so the way he works, he has a line of sight system. If he catches you, and it's a pretty big radius, especially on the tower, that's why the towers are there. They give him kind of maximum visibility of the world, and there he is flying right there. I wonder.
Did you just aggro him?
No.
I was going to say, he hasn't circled back around, so you might be okay.
Yeah,
Watching him do his banking turn and come back is probably one of the most terrifying things. Uh-oh.
Yeah, so yeah, he came flying in. I thought he was going to attack me.
Yeah.
So there's only 2 ways to break Kerr's line of sight right now, and that is to find a structure and hide or die. And that's really it. So once you're inside a structure, he can't, Argo, the way his AI is, all right, we got our torchbearer. He made it. Sal. He's in. Don't you remember Sal? Salver?
I do remember.
Woohoo! Hold on, this is very important. I can't go anywhere without Salver.
The question is, does he have his 2 torches?
Yes, he does.
Oh, there we go. Yes, he just showed that up on the screen.
All right, so we do have light, everybody. Salver will guide the way. He'll be here for us. So yeah, you gotta find a place to hide. And in Argo, the way his attack radius is not large enough, you're not gonna get attacked while you're in the town. But if you venture up close to the tower, he will gain aggro radius, and you will get attacked, and you have the potential to die unless you know how to run and dodge and avoid getting strafed until you can take cover, essentially, is how it's supposed to work. Now, he does have his search radius, his time that he keeps aggro, is a little bit longer than the other creatures, so that's something I'm going to hopefully tune by the next update.
Cool.
Does that work? Sound good?
That does. No, cool. It does, absolutely. And for those who are asking, the server name, which may already be full, what's your Fantasy Island again?
It's Signal Studios, like official server or official stream or something like that.
Okay.
And it is open, so anybody can join, but it could be full already. It's like Euryidium's,
official server or something like that. We are aware that when a server gets full, it disappears from the list, and that is something that we're actually looking to change, so that for future things like this, you can actually tell whether we just got a full server or not, because it's kind of important when you guys are trying to join us. Yeah. And yes, absolutely, in the future we are looking to increase the size of the stream of the servers, so that more people can actually come on and play together, because it's always more fun with more people, right?
So this is one of those games. I think a lot of people really enjoy playing Savage Lands. It's a great co-op experience for a survival game. It is fantasy. I think that's really one of the driving elements that makes it a lot of fun. So I'm really kind of pleased how that's turning out. There's some really cool. There are some PvP elements. They're pretty basic, but getting the head of another player is pretty cool, and putting those on pikes, it's always good fun. So.
And as Randomized User showed in one of his videos, which if you guys haven't seen, we normally retweet because they are exceedingly funny. He's got a great sense of humor and some good editing skills. You can also, if you die, you can loot your own head.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I may have done that.
Did you?
Or I think Sean may actually have my skull now, but we were testing. I died. It was bad. It was bad. Anyway. 1,
2, 3, 6. I'm the 7th. We'll wait for one more.
All right.
All right.
Now, next question. Yes? No? Yes? No?
Yeah, I'm ready. Go ahead.
Okay. So you had mentioned a long time ago that you were interested in creatures like a forest giant, if he is on a rampage, to be able to do damage to a house or a structure that you're in. I know that's not in yet, but along those same lines, will other creatures, for example, say a night fury, be able to come in, either bash down the door or do some damage before they then lose interest and go wandering off?
Maybe. I don't know. There's certain, I think it's more epic when you have the more gargantuan type creatures, like the forest giants and anything else that we add into the world, like ogres and giant trolls potentially that'll go in, that can bash down houses and break to get at you. I think that makes more sense. The Furies, I want to give players areas that they can escape to. Stone houses offer more protection than, say, wooden houses, that kind of stuff. So we'll see. It's all balance and tuning, and we'll just have to figure it out as we go forward. But right now, I'd like to keep it to a lot of the larger creatures, and then if it makes sense, maybe we'll let some of the smaller ones, break through the doors. But otherwise, I don't know. I want to get it in, and then I can play with it. And once I play with it, it's kind of like getting a lot of, it's like having clay, and because my kids use Play-Doh.
It works.
Yeah, clay, and you just kind of mold things together. That's how I like to do stuff, and then really kind of make some really cool stuff out of it. What makes sense? So.
And that's something that you guys as our community are absolutely, needed for. We put in these I don't even know what that word was. We put in these basic systems, and then through your help, your feedback, your comments, your bugs, we, figure out what works and what doesn't. It is phenomenal that we have you guys, that you are this dedicated and that you're this interested in helping us shape this game. It's not something that traditional game development does or has the ability to take advantage of. So we really appreciate it, and hopefully you guys are enjoying that ride so far, because it is kind of a ride.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff, and again, you guys have great feedback. If I don't always respond, or any, Jackie or any other dev, we don't respond. It's not that we don't read it. A lot of times we just read a lot of bugs in the forums, and we just go and fix them.
Yes.
In some cases, we read feedback, and that's really good stuff. So I don't always respond. I should be a little bit better about that, but a lot of times I just like reading stuff, and then it's pretty cool. And you guys do a lot. You guys have a lot of great ideas, and that's what I love about this particular form of development. You don't get that a lot from developers, I think, in early access. It gives us the opportunity to interact with the fans. You guys can work with me. We can crowdsource ideas and come up with cool stuff. I can also throw stuff out there. You guys like it. It's a way for me to test the water, see what you guys like, what you don't like. That's in addition to putting in stuff we should have. Like character customizer and dedicated servers. Those are things that, it's like there's really no question that we have to have those. So, in general, it's a great way for us to test the water. And I love working with the fans, always have, even back in the days of Command and Conquer, towards the early 2000s, working with our fans, getting feedback on how to balance and make things better. It's just one of those things as the developer I've always been privileged to be part of. And to be close to the fan base, to be close to the community, because you guys, at the end of the day, you're the fans, you play the game, and a lot of times you truthfully have your ideas are really, really, really good. So, we don't always have the best as developers. We don't always have the best ideas. Trust me.
Well,
or a lot of times we overcomplicate things that we shouldn't. Yeah. But anyway, thank you guys. In short, thank you for all the feedback. I also have been reading all the reviews. I've been trying to thank everybody for posting up reviews. By the way, guys, if you're watching me in the stream, I'm taking the long way around the tower so we don't aggro Kerr. If anybody's curious, so that's what's going on there.
And speaking thing, just before we get too far off track, we just off of the, we do ask you guys for your feedback. We have a current discussion going on right now on the Trello board where we have 2 different ideas of how you guys might want to protect your gear in the future in the game. We know that, people come on and go snooping through, let's say, bags and boxes and stuff like that. So we have 2 ideas. They're pinned up or they're not pinned, but they are up at the top on the Trello board for the active voting. I'm sure Sean and Dev will be very kind and put the Trello link in the chat momentarily. You guys can go in and vote. Please make sure you do vote. You can actually vote for both if you would like to see both of them in. The options are locks or hidden caches. If you have a comment, absolutely, about an idea or how you'd like to see it implemented, please feel free to add that to one of, the appropriate cards, because that will actually help us give us very specific feedback on that particular subject. We've been going since about, it was Monday when I posted it up. The cards did exist, and I made a note of how many votes both cards had before we started. And when we actually will probably finish up the discussion of it, as if you will, next Monday, we'll tally everything up and make sure that the devs as a whole, the development team as a whole has access to it. So that they can see what you guys think. So please make sure that you take part in that. Thank you.
All right. So guys, anybody watching, everybody that's in right now, I'm just getting my bearings. Again, as many of you know, I build, hopefully everybody that's been playing, especially you old schoolers that have been playing a long time, are noticing all the cool camps we've been adding into the world. I'm trying to make it in such a way that you don't run for too long until you kind of run into something, be it old ruins or a small little camp, an abandoned camp. I want to make it so that you don't always get stuck out in the night with nowhere to go. So I'm slowly working my way through the island and adding that stuff. Hopefully you guys are digging it. I know we've had a lot of new players. Last week we had that big sale that brought in a lot of new players. And hopefully you guys have been having fun. Hopefully, there's a lot of new players here on the stream. You guys are having fun. Our community is amazing. You guys do a great job helping each other out. And hopefully you guys are helping out those new players that, the Savage Lands can initially be pretty brutal, which is how I'd like to keep it. But, of course, as you gear up and you get the things that you need, surviving the harsh wilderness becomes less of an issue, and it becomes more about exploring and finding cool things.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to asking you questions. Which one do I want to use? Ruin Deckard has asked, is there anything in the works for either map expansions, or is this the size that the map will stay? Now, I know we've talked about this before, but like you just said, we had a whole bunch of new people come in since last week, so take it away.
For now, this is the size of the map, but to give you guys some idea, I'm going to be working one of our environmental art. Oh man, we just got mobbed by a huge pack of wolves. These guys just came out of nowhere. Man, I'd hate to be solo in this one.
I managed to beat them solo the other day when I wandered into the same type of pack.
It's 7 wolves. I didn't even realize I created a pack of 7 wolves. Huh.
Well, you may have actually triggered 2 packs.
That's very, you know what, Chloe? Thank you. It's very true. Forgetting how our AI spawner system works in the game.
You probably did trigger 2.
Okay.
There are 2 alphas in there. The whiter ones.
Yes, the whiter alphas.
Are those the dire wolves?
No, the dire wolves on the opposite. So over where Helion spawns is where you'll find the dire wolves. They're on the opposite.
I still haven't. So that's just a pack, a Hillstalker pack with an alpha.
Yeah, they're just still stalkers. Nothing more. All right, everybody. So I'm just making sure we got our band of merry men. So I keep stopping and looking. I don't want to go too far. We need a breather. All right, so just stopping. All right. All right. We got everybody. Get my bearings. All right, this is a long journey, so it's going to be a lot of snow. There's going to be a lot of foliage. We might see a deer or 2, and we might actually see a wolf. And if we run across a forest giant as we're cutting through the center here, we will kill that forest giant in all its glory. Woot woot. All right, so what else we got? Oh, more wolves. Who put these wolves in? All right, what do you got, Chloe? Can you hear me?
All right, well, Osiris was just giving us potentially some links to humble bundle keys to give away to the fans as a donation. So thank you, Cyrus. We'll figure that out. Don't worry, and we will figure out. Wow, you are just triggering the wolves all over the place, aren't you? Yeah. Clearly, this is the way to go if you want to farm wolf pelts. Clearly.
You might think that we're in a dangerous part of the island.
Maybe. All right. Sir Nightingale just asked, will there ever be unique buildings that you can only find pre-built?
Yes. As we add more, I'm putting together, it's a great question. It kind of segues into something I'm working on right now, which is a plan for structures. There's going to be unique, like the ruins, for example. You will not construct anything that's kind of old and magical or look magical. You'll only be able to construct some of the basic wooden houses on top of some other houses that will have new types of functionality forthcoming in the future. So, but there will only be, things like the monolith you find in the world, in addition to some other cool things that we'll be adding in time as well. We have a whole plan for the center of the map. As I was saying, or I was leading into, I'm going to be sitting down with one of our environmental artists, and we're going to be looking at ways that we can retune the entire island, changing densities of the forests for certain areas, really kind of creating these unique biomes within the tool sets that we have available to us, the add-ons that we support to procedurally populate all this stuff. So we're going to make some really cool stuff, and we're going to build this awesome fortress for Kerr's Encounter that I'm really excited about. But that'll be in like the next several months.
So it's just going to take a lot of work. I have a question about that. Which maybe we don't know yet.
Hold on.
That's okay.
Did we lose people?
Potentially. But you have mentioned before that during Kerr's Encounter, or to engage in Kerr's Encounter, which is what we're calling it for now, you can only do it during sunset and sunrise, and somehow that magically weakens him or something to that effect. Does that mean that fortress will only be accessible at that time?
No.
Or will the fortress always be there once it's in place?
The fortress will always be there. It's actually going to be the ancient ruins. It'll be an ancient kind of city fortress that was built around the island. A lot of cool lore stuff that'll be intertwined with it, and it'll also be destroyed as we tie the lore into it. And Kerr, as he's looking for what he's looking for, destroy this fortress. But he comes to this area. He'll land here. He'll land essentially. Now, you'll be able to attack him, and the encounter initially might be kind of basic, but our goal is over time to really amp that encounter up, make it very unique, classic console-style boss encounter that's just over the top. So it's going to be one of those things that evolves over time. Yep, there we got a giant.
Awesome.
So up on screen, we got one of the forest giants.
All right.
Oh, and there's Kerr. I know exactly where we're at. This is great.
Now I've seen a screenshot of Kerr's fire engaging the forest giants. I don't know whether they just happened to kite the forest dragon in or aggro Kerr at the same time, but there was definitely some massive damage ongoing at the same time.
Yeah.
All right, so while Chris does that, I am actually going to give away one of the 2 keys that Osiris just gave, and we will be doing some of our regular giveaways in a little bit, don't worry. And when we do our giveaways, we always do copies of our game. But Osiris, thank you so much. This is going to be for particulars is what he says this first one is. So how about we do a really quick, so the keyword is going to be Osiris is awesome. All one word, no spaces, or I guess all one phrase. So Osiris is awesome is the keyword to be entering, and this will be for the copy of particulars.
Were you talking to me?
Right. No, I wasn't talking to you.
I was chatting, Chloe, in game.
Oh my gosh. Wow. It's okay. Don't worry about it. I'm giving stuff away.
Cool. I'm coordinating our tactical efforts here.
And make sure, guys, there are no caps. Do not use caps. The system doesn't like it. I don't know why. So it's all lowercase, no spaces. Anybody can enter. This is for particulars. This is really cool. Thank you so much, Osiris, for donating the code. It's the first time anybody's ever done that for us. So
yeah,
yay!
that's super awesome. Thank you very much.
It's very unexpected, and thank you very much. And Osiris, I will actually look for your email that you just mentioned in your note, and I will try and get back to you about that. So again, thank you so much for that.
Torchbearer Salver. Salver cracks me up. He's our torchbearer. He renamed himself. Now officially Torchbearer Salver.
Nice, very awesome.
So that's how we do it. That's how we roll through the Savage Lands. We got heat, we got food, and we have cold ebon steel.
All right.
And we got
the
wolves.
winner is... While I type this in. All right. The winner is Lucifer. Lucifer, please make sure that you message me after the stream is over, and I will make sure that I give you that code from Osiris. So thank you so much, Osiris, and congratulations, Lucifer. So that's Lucifer 9925. All right.
Awesome. Thanks again for the giveaway.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
Man,
okay.
I'm just running into a ton of stuff.
Yes, you are. Clearly, this is the way that you always need to go because you're just running into everything and giving people something
Usually when I do a lot of testing, I can't really run across the island all the time, and especially different times of the day. This is, again, guys, this is why your help, you are helping us kind of test the game too, is Absolutely. I don't always get to see all this awesome stuff. I make a lot of educated guesses sometimes when I put spawners together. And so the spawners are all procedural too. So when I see certain things kind of combined together, it brings a tear to my eye when things are working the way I want them to work.
Now, Oris asked us a little bit ago, is there a hidden game dev mode a hidden game mode for the devs so that we can ride around on Kur's back and chase players? That would be hilarious.
No.
But there is not, unfortunately.
No, it'd be pretty cool.
If there is, Chris isn't sharing it with me.
There is. I have things hidden throughout the world for players.
That's true.
Easter eggs, and I always add new Easter eggs all the time. I was actually thinking of a really cool encounter I was going to put in. It's like an Easter egg encounter. Yesterday when I was working on
encounter.
Yeah, so basically it's an Easter egg, and you're surprised by it because it's like, hello, I'm an Easter egg. And you're like, oh my gosh, there's something cool from this epic swarm of mobs that I just had to kill in this one spot that nobody else has found.
Has anybody ever done an Easter egg where it's literally an Easter egg?
I don't know. I think we should, though. But
I think we should.
A dragon egg.
Dragon egg!
There we go. See, now we're thinking.
Hey, I've been asking for dragon eggs and dragon babies since before we even went public. Although I also want to do the dragon drop.
The dragon drop. I don't know.
Please. Come on, guys. You know you want to help me win this battle. Let's see if we can get dragon drops to get to the top of the Trello board and bump out mines as the
I'll
number
tell you
one
what.
top
I'll
voted thing.
commit to sausages before I commit to a dragon drop. How's that?
Well, you've already committed to sausages.
I did commit to sausages,
You
didn't
did. I you know what?
Oh,
I'm
there's
still
another-
surprised that more people haven't been complaining about the fact that you haven't put in sausages yet.
I just don't bring them up on stream until now.
No, I do that. I do that for you.
All right, so we got another forest giant in the mix. Let's go and slay the beast.
All right. So in Viniron?
All right.
I'm really sorry. I totally just butchered your name on the stream. I apologize. Has asked, are we going to be putting any type of music in the future for overall world travel?
Potentially. I would love to get some more kind of combat tracks in.
Yeah, because right now we have a very wide open and desolate world. There is no real music involved in it.
Yeah, no, because we're more of a survival game, we didn't want to necessarily put in fantasy tracks like, oh, now you're in the realm of Cowl Soul. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, it would be kind of cool to have maybe, I don't know, I got to play with it. I'm on the fence.
It could be interesting. You could find, like, say, if you're in the fortress, or what is it called? Is it a fortress?
The fortress. I just call it the fortress right now because I haven't. Okay. Its name is TBD as I get all the lore together,
That's
so
okay.
I don't necessarily.
No. I just want to make sure that I was referring to it in the right way. Perhaps there is an enchanted harp.
What?
It's magic,
harp?
isn't it? There could be a bespelled harp that constantly plays, or something. Well, you know what? Harps are fantasy related. It could also be like a lute. Just a lute sitting in a corner, and you smack it to change the.
All right, I'll give you the lute. The lute would be kind of cool, but a harp? All right, I'm all for the lute, because then you could like gear out and look like a bard.
Well,
pretty
exactly.
Cool.
And in fact, we are still waiting on someone from the community to write an epic song about Savage Lands and submit it to us because, well, we like music and we like stuff from you guys.
Oh my
and
gosh,
if you hadn't seen it, Dark Soul Omega actually did a hilarious little T-shirt for when Kerr first starts attacking, and I believe it was his line was, "I fought or I got burned by Kerr," and the only this was the only T-shirt, or the only thing I got was a T-shirt, which is true. That is the only thing you're gonna get.
So some might actually think that I actually lined this up. So you see how the sun, the monolith, and the way I have this podium set up here?
But no, that would be
you
silly,
will
wouldn't
in just a second. Like, wow, what is going on? Why is this so? Yeah, it's there's some cool stuff that when I set this area up, I had some stuff in mind. So
things have been added too, because we started with just the monolith, which is in front of you, and then the thing that you're standing on appeared in like update 7 or 8 or possibly 9. So I wonder where it leads to.
I'm waiting for the theme for 2001: Space Odyssey to kick in. Anyway, this is the monolith, everybody. If you haven't seen it, it holds the it's part of it's kind of a it's one of the elements that's going to drive part of our lore. There are going to be more added to the world. They're going to appear, and they are tied to the forest giants. And the forest giants are kind of the guardians of the Isle, if you're not familiar with that. And they're the last remaining defense that the island has before Kerr, to keep Kerr from getting this thing that will complete, Kerr's kind of search for power. So, and of course, with all these people or players that are showing up, these exiles that are kind of come to this island, something is drawing them here. They are weakening the island's defenses, and something epic is going to happen. All right, to Helion, this long
As you
journey.
walk towards Helion and his poor little ruins, I'm going to ask you another question.
All right.
So there's actually 2, and I just totally missed who asked the other one. Oh no. There we go. iDope Twizzler. iDope Twizzler. Okay, has asked, as we begin to craft higher tiered gear and weapons.
There's a buck.
What?
I said there's a buck.
Squirrel!
That's right. Squirrel!
Focus!
Squirrel!
Go
ahead.
Focus on my question. As we craft higher geared stuff, do the enemies actually become more difficult?
There's no sense of, there's no scaler in the game that would increase the overall difficulty. There are lower end mobs. Then there's going to be higher end mobs. And as we add more tiers of armor and weapons in the game, we're also going to increase the overall difficulty in new mobs that we add to the world. So it's kind of this layered effect. So you'll have certain weapons, as you gear up, as you craft better weapons, you'll be able to fight bigger creatures. It's as simple as that.
And I mean, areas for the starting area, for example, it's based on areas as to where you're going to find the different enemies. The starting area is always going to have the weakest enemies. So, when you land on the beach for the first time, when you get to Argo, there are very specific types of enemies that spawn there. The one difference kind of being Kerr, who could potentially cause problems for a new player if they, for example, were to go running straight at the Dragon Tower, which does seem to be, curiously, a common thing to do for new players. Ooh, I found a town. Ooh, look, there's a dragon. Let me go run to it. That's not particularly smart for self-preservation. I would be running in the opposite direction. Yes, the starting areas will probably always be protected to some degree. Sir Nightingale asks, what are the purpose of the large stone pillars? Now, what is the in-game purpose of them, and what is the purpose of them for you, Chris?
The large stone pillars?
Yeah, the things that you may have moved from the beach to the interior of the island, shall we say.
Oh, I did that just to help players better recognize when they're in the interior. So you'll see them on the water, and then you'll only see them in the center of the island. It's just, there's nothing necessarily special about them. They're just more points of interest, or just recognizable objects in the world. Because our island, because of the way the foliage is set up right now, everything's not necessarily clustered in a particular type of way. Here we are at the third Dragon Island, or the third tower. I'm going to cut across here, so sorry. They're not set up in a particular way. They're there for markers, just landmarks, if you will.
AKA Chris got tired of getting lost on stream, and so he put in some navigation for himself. It's okay.
Yes.
I fully admit I get lost too, so... horribly lost. Ruin Deckard has asked, will there be drops that can spawn other events or encounters? Now that was something that you had mentioned, that Kerr was the first level of encounters, of the big epic tier encounters that we were looking at doing.
Yes. Now layered encounters is something I would like to do, but I want to get the dragon encounter and get all that stuff in first, and then figure out how much further we can take the content and add more cool stuff to the game. As many of you, for those of you who have a Grey Reaver right now, which is probably very few of you, it's kind of the first step in terms of layering armor and weapons. Requiring, say, a particular sword that you have to get off a rare mob that you need to craft a more powerful weapon. So I want to do more of it. It's just something that's just going to happen with time.
So can you talk a little bit about how we balance health as we go through? Because Camo just asked, are we ever going to scale health and damage based on the number of people who are on the server? Since as he's watching, the forest giants were going down fairly quickly because we're dealing with people who have decent gear and decent weapons.
That just tells me that I haven't done that great of a job balancing the forest giants based on the weapons that we currently have in the game. Which, as I make changes to the weapons, I don't necessarily get to go in and do a pass on some of the more epic creatures. So it's just constant. It's just a constant thing that happens. So yeah, I'll go back in. There's no scalers. I don't want to necessarily put in some type of damage multiplier or some health multiplier on the creatures. I'll only do that if I absolutely have to, and I can't do it based on the existing systems that I have. It's kind of, I look at scalers as a worst case scenario type of system that, to add into a game like this. Other games, there are situations where it makes sense, but in this particular case, not yet.
That's fair. I think, well, at least I think it's fair.
Not yet, but that's not to say I won't. I'm not a big fan of them, but I've worked on some RPGs where we definitely needed to use them, and it made sense. But I'd like to build this world to be a bit more organic and less, it's like, it's like an MMORPG where instances and encounters, and they just procedurally scale based on player level. I don't want to do that. Not yet.
That's fair. I mean, a lot of it is also, we have to put something out there and get it into place, and then start looking at, well, what does it actually mean? It's that whole clay molding thing. It's like, well, let's push it in this way or stick it out that way. So we'll get there, absolutely.
Well, we're at 1:59. We did start late, didn't we, Chloe? Like 15, 20.
So we gotta go at least 15 minutes longer.
All right, yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, wow, this is actually a much longer journey. I should have taken the short way. I should have taken the beach.
Now, Chris, we're gonna talk a little bit about Draemar. Because poor Jamie, poor Jamie from Randomized User has been looking for him probably since he went in. I think we should either bring him to Draemar or manage to do something for that to prove to poor Jamie that he does actually exist. Or is he, in fact, Herobrine?
He exists. He's in the game.
Have you actually killed him?
I kill him every day.
I don't believe you.
He's
unless you're talking about, he's part of your soul and you just chip away at him every
because
day.
he used to, the ruins where Helion now resides, Draemar used to spawn there. He had a really low chance, but now I have different plans for Draemar. He's going to be like Draemar. I'm changing him to Draemar the Wanderer. So you'll find him at various areas in the island.
So wander.
He's going to be, he'll appear at different areas at different times of the day on the island.
All right. So in fact, we are going to use Draemar as our giveaway. So that is Dreamar. Did I spell that right this time?
Maybe.
It doesn't have a Y in it anymore. You lied to me. Chris lies to me all the time.
That's all I do, Chloe, is lie.
Lie like a sidewalk. All right, so Draemar is the key to be giving, or the thing to be entering into chat. It does not have a capital, just like everything else that we do, even though obviously his name is capitalized normally. And this is for a copy of Savage Lands. We'll do the last of the Ciders giveaway at the very end. And this is a copy that you can give away to one of your friends.
The Wanderer. Sorry.
Whatever. You can give it to your friends. You can give it to someone who, if you stream, you can give it away as a giveaway on your stream, or if you do YouTube videos, you can do it there. This is our way of helping you get a friend into Savage Lands if you already own it. If you don't own it, awesome. Then welcome to the world of Savage Lands. And it is... yeah.
Welcome to the world of Savage Lands. How's that? Streaming is always fun with the game director.
So it is Dreamar. I think.
Draemar. That is correct.
Yeah, that's right. All right. And just to make it a little more interesting, if you guys are following the channel, you will get a little bit better...
Man.
You will get a little bit better chance to actually win, and we are going to pick up a couple of winners today. Speaking of which, followers, so a couple weeks ago I did actually say that once we hit the 1,000 mark of followers on the channel, I was going to do a 24-hour stream. I thought it was going to take us at least like a month to get there, and you guys have blown it out of the water, and so we're actually over 1,000 followers as of today. So thank you for that. However, with my internet being kind of weird as it is, I'm actually going to delay my stream until the week of the 15th. So we'll have more information coming about that, but then I will be in Seattle in studio, and I will actually do a 24-hour stream on site because we have the dedicated stream machine and all that, and it's a little bit better set up, so I don't have to worry about bad lag or anything like that. So in about 2 weeks we will have that for you guys, and you can watch me get steadily sillier throughout the night. Admittedly, I think what I'm going to do is start a brand new character, brand new world, and we're going to see what we can do with that stream and with that world in a 24-hour period time. So yeah, that should be crazy.
I think it'll be.
And that way we can also have people come in and jump on and be special guests for a little bit, so I can, you know, go eat and use the facilities and things like that. But
no. I will pop in and I will give away stuff because I love giving away free stuff.
It won't exactly be 5 nights at Savage Lands, but it likely will get to that point.
Did you say
right
5
around...
nights at Savage Lands?
Well, that's what Environ called it in chat, so it won't quite be that. But I do tend to get silly right around hour 18 to 20 is when I start getting very strange. So, yeah. Okay. So there's that. We'll keep that going. Oh, and I forgot to do I forgot to actually do the roll. Okay, so I'm picking my winners, and the winners are going to be, we're gonna do, let's call it 4 copies of the game. I think that'll be good. Next winner is like some of these names.
I'm close.
Are you? Do you know where you are?
I know. Well,
Have you found where you are?
I know where I'm at. I always know where I'm at. I know. Well, yeah, I know. I got to add spotlights to the game at night. Just giant spotlight. Well, it's night, and then the blizzard throws me off, and the blizzards they're by design, but man, I hate it when they happen to me. It's okay with everybody else. Just when I'm doing stuff. All right, so I think we're getting in the general vicinity. Got to come down the hill.
All right, so the winners are Dark Soul Omega, Onion, Torched, Diagnosis System 91, and Potem can be? I'm not sure. Why must you guys torture me with your names? Be hard to, although. So congratulations to the winners. And funny enough, Potem, you actually won. Like, I rolled your name before you had said that, so there was no hacks there, guys. So congratulations to everybody. Make sure you message me afterwards on the link that Moobot just put into the chat. Yay, Moobot! Thank you, Sean.
By the way,
Dev,
I just gave away an Easter egg.
Oh, did you? Well, I was busy giving away free copies of the game, so nobody was looking at it.
We'll have to go back and watch the stream.
They will. And for those of you who don't know, we do always post, if you've just joined and you haven't seen some of our earlier streams, we do always post them on YouTube, and they will be, we push them out on social media and whatnot, so you can always find them tomorrow. They'll go up normally around about noon, unless I have a lot of trouble annotating. And we always pull out both the key questions and any highlights. So if you are interested in that, please make sure you give our playlist a check. All right,
Fury.
Where are you? And guys, if you have any more questions, please go ahead. Anytime we do the giveaways, they of course bump the questions up so I lose track of some of them. So if you are going to be giving, if you have any questions for us, make sure that you add us, because we've got about 10 minutes left in the stream.
We'll get there, guys. All right, we got to keep moving. We got to keep moving.
Shnish, I'm not sure how to say your name. You actually can relight a burnt out torch. When a normal torch burns out, it becomes a burnt out torch. When you relight it, it becomes a dimly lit torch, so it doesn't last quite as long as it doesn't give off as much heat.
I was actually thinking of pulling those out of the game. I was staring at him yesterday going, yeah, I should maybe pull these out.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't, do you guys use dimly lit torches? I mean, is it worth it?
Well, if they didn't know that they couldn't do it, then they potentially may not have used it, but now that we've just said it on stream, they could be using it.
That's very true.
I'm just saying.
I don't know. I look at those and I'm like, are they really worth it? You know, no. Nope. Yeah,
Chris,
see?
Chris, you're coming down off your coffee high.
I actually could go for some fajitas. I'm really hungry.
What?
Exactly.
Okay, you know what? Are you still on the? Or you run into another blizzard? Are you still on the hunt for Helion here?
Yeah, we're almost
Did
to the
you
location.
seriously go to the absolute longest way possible?
No, Chloe. I call it an adventure. It's an adventure. These are always an adventure. They may be an hour long, according to some reviews on our Steam forums or our Steam page. The island can be traversed in 10 minutes. Maybe. I don't know. You guys tell me. Oh,
well, I think they're
blizzard.
talking about going across, on the directly across the island, because you could go overland,
you can't go across
and
the
it
island.
is a shorter time than if you were circumnavigating.
I do want to say, though, I've been reading all the reviews. I do try to respond to all the reviews, and I want to thank everybody that's posted up a review. Obviously, as the games, we've added more and more content. The game has been getting better and better, so we're starting to see, not that we had a lot of negative reviews, but a lot of just a really good amount of positive reviews, and I want to thank everybody for those. They mean a lot, and, I know you take time out of your day to post those up, so thank you very much for doing that.
And the same goes for all of our bug reports that you guys give us, and just the feedback on or suggestions for ideas of things that you'd like to see included in the game. We know that takes time, especially if you give us really well written and thought out ideas. Those are super important to us because it allows us to sort of see how overall you guys are thinking, as well as, maybe we put something in and it's just not quite working, and with a few more tweaks, it can be so much better. So we really appreciate that you spend the time and are dedicated enough to do that. We love you guys for it.
Yeah, it's much appreciated. I know it's a lot of work. You know, Chloe and I try to work really hard, along with our forum mods, to make sure that you guys. I think we're there.
Are you? Are you sure?
Hold on.
Maybe.
I was distracted.
We
have arrived at the ruins of where Helion spawns. I am the navigator. All right, so with that, all right, guys, go ahead and hunt and kill and maim and destroy. We got to clear out the mobs if we want Helion to spawn, unless he already spawned and he's around here somewhere. All right, so anyway, as I was saying, thank you, everybody. We greatly appreciate it. And I'll say that one more time at the end of the stream, but I am very appreciative of all the support and feedback. And it is a lot of work. You know, Chloe and I put in extra time to make sure that we're there on the community and the forums. You know, I know a lot of devs say they do streams, but Chloe and I are committed to doing streams every week, regardless of how big or how small. We will do a stream. We try to bring in other people when they're not super busy.
Yes.
You know, because I never have anything to do. But
well, no, we don't. You know, it's all we do is sit around and play.
I actually love doing streams. I would stream all day. I wish I could stream my work desktop from here on this machine. It's just not set up. It's to do what I need it to do. But it would be fun. You guys could watch me work. You know, manipulate numbers, and then everybody could be like, "No, don't do that! You added a 10 to damage. What are you doing? Are you a madman?"
You know, I would love, I don't know how this would work, and I'm not saying that we should do it for Savage Lands, to be clear, but I would be fascinated to see a Twitch does game development in some way, shape, or form, where, you know, like they did Twitch Plays Pokemon, which should not have worked and yet did. I'd love to see what kind of craziness the Twitch community would actually create out of that. I don't know how it would work. I mean, it would have to be like Game Balancer or something like that. But that would be absolutely wild out there.
That'd be a lot of fun. I mean, it's a lot of work. You know, a lot of times too. The thing about it is, you guys are prying into how it's kind of a window into how devs work.
Absolutely.
And it is exposing, you know, a lot of things that go on behind the scenes. So sometimes devs might not want to show off a lot of stuff. I get it.
Very fair.
Seeing how numbers work, and then you guys can go, "Oh, I get it now," and then you could kind of game the system. But at the same time, I think it would be pretty cool to let people into the world and how you do things and talk about some of the add-on tools. And I don't know. I think it would be a lot of fun, even if it was for an hour or two a day. I think it's not going to be a big draw, but a big, you know, people draw. But I think a lot of guys that are interested in development would appreciate those types of streams.
You are always welcome to take over the stream. You just let me know, and I will always promote it. Now, I did want to actually bring something up as a suggestion that, a question, I guess, that Bragdras, mentioned earlier, and I believe this is actually a summarized version of something that he suggested on the forums. If not, there's a really similar suggestion. What about mobs that spawn after, say, let's call it 10 in-game days time, that would carry perhaps ore or other materials in the areas that you likely would be starting in, so that, you know, after you've cleared out those areas, you might have the ability to find something without having to go and, you know, push further and further throughout the island. Would that be something that you would consider?
It's easy to put stuff into their loot tables and have them drop stuff. Again, I try to, for the most part, make it so mobs drop. You know, if a skeleton drops something, it's either something that he's wearing or something that he's carrying. You know, in the case of the Furies, I just added Fury battle satchels, which are bags. It kind of makes sense because those guys are still in their full plate, so they could theoretically be carrying those satchels under their, you know, under a piece of plate somewhere. So I try to do it so it makes sense.
As opposed to tied to their rib
cage. Tied to their rib cage. You know, I always bring up the analogy, like, you know, why would a skeleton ever be carrying gold around? Why would a skeleton be carrying meat? You know, decayed flesh, yeah, that rots off its bones, right? But what is a skeleton going to carry gold? What's it going to buy? You know, that never made any sense to me.
Well, in the suggestion that was made in the forums, and it's actually very well written, so I can link it to you if you're curious. They were actually the OP actually suggested that they were former miners, so that they would have related gear on them, or a lumberjack or something like that. Because obviously,
yes,
we haven't seen much other than like the existing skeletons. We don't know what has happened to most of the people. So put something like that.
Sure. I visually, if we can make those characters kind of like the Furies, look like, you know, that they're carrying whatever they drop is carrying whatever they're, you know, whatever they drop, or because they were miners or whatever. But again, thematically, I'd want to tie that into an area of the world where that would make sense. You know, the miners aren't going to wander around near Argo. They would not. They would wander around open mines in the world, you know, or inside those mines. You know, that would make sense.
That would make sense. And in fact, that's actually one of the, right now, that is the top rated or top most voted thing on our Trello board, is the concept of caves and mines and stuff like that. We've talked a little bit about the fact that we do want to diversify the island slightly, though likely it won't happen right away. Because we want to get that dragon encounter fully fleshed out, and that's going to probably take the majority of our resources for the next couple of updates, as we've said. But something like that could potentially be added in the future. So just to talk a little bit about the Trello board and how that actually impacts us. There isn't necessarily just because something is listed at the top as being the most voted, it's not necessarily a comment on how we can reorganize our plans for development, but it is something that informs our decisions. So we do have to get certain things in first, like Kerr's encounter, but then once we've hit that next big milestone, when we're planning, we go and take a look at things like the Trello board, which very clearly lays out what you guys are interested in, then we can start to look at how our plans were originally, and then sort of try and work those two things together. So please definitely vote and comment on the Trello board, but also understand that we do have certain things that we got to get in certain order.
Looks like they just dropped Helion.
Ooh.
Good for them.
Congratulations, guys.
Salver got the sword. Good for Salver, the torchbearer.
Awesome.
He carries all of us on his back.
And there's something interesting about Helion's sword, because it is used to craft another weapon, right? It is the first weapon that kind of has that. Yeah,
it's used to craft the Grey Reaver, which is what I carry right now. So the sword that Helion drops is actually called the Ancient Relic Blade. You haven't really discovered what it is. Well, once you pick it up, it'll unlock the Grey Reaver recipes. So it's required you're essentially reforging the blade, is what's going on, to get it into Grey Reaver status. Now, Grey Reaver, with this sword that I have, there is some lore behind it. There's lore behind Helion. Helion was actually Lycor's second in command, who basically worked to defend the island. You know, the remaining. Once Helion, or once Lycor fell, he basically took charge to try to defend all the villages and towns from Lycor, but that didn't pan out. And he carried the Reaver essentially, and it just became battle worn. So you reforge the blade, essentially. Now the Golden Reaver is actually, that's Lycor's blade. There's some magic to it that we're going to expose coming down, which is why you don't need to reforge that particular blade. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. So I'm trying to tie all this cool stuff into the world from blades, so you just don't have the short sword, and we have some of that, but a lot of the more rare weapons, some of the more epic weapons, I want them to have substance in the world. I want them, you know, there's a reason why this blade exists. There's a reason why the Golden Reaver exists. They were touched in some form. They were crafted by the great smiths of the Sundered Isle to be something epic. And same thing with some of the armor, like the ebon steel plate. And some other armor that we have in the pipeline as well. As long as I have some really cool new weapons, some weapons that glow, that are all going to have their own. They're going to fit into the world in various ways. So they have their own lore behind them. I love it when blades have lore, because that just gives that blade personality, and I'm a big fan of that kind of stuff.
All right. So so we're going to do the last giveaway for today, and it is going to be for the other game that where did my window go? I had it. My window that told me what Osiris, who was awesome, gave me. Oh, there we go. Okay. So as we get ready to wrap up, Chris, what will our last giveaway clue be or keyword be?
Ba-ba-ba-ba. Signal.
Signal? Really? Okay.
We're all
Signal
out today. Signal.
All right,
Let's
signal
do signal.
Signal. All right. No caps, as always, guys. Nice and simple. And this is for a copy of Metroside. Thank you again, Osiris. You are super awesome for donating these keys. That is absolutely wonderful of you. Thank you. I don't know what else to say about that. I definitely look forward to getting some of that stuff from you. And all right, everybody, make sure that when you put it in, you don't include. It's not at us. It's just the word signal. That's the way that the plugin works, which is really cool. Make sure that there's no capital S. It's just all lowercase, one word. Yay! All right, I'm gonna let that go for a little bit. Chris, do you have anything else that you would like to say?
I'm actually, right now, guys, I'm in the middle of giving everybody all sorts of goodies. So if you make it into the server, I love giving away free stuff. I'm giving away strong boxes right now. And then I got a bunch of other stuff in my bags. I just kind of load my stuff. I don't even know what I carry anymore. I just have stuff. So I'm just throwing stuff on the ground. But in general, everybody, thank you very much for all those new players that have joined the Savage Bus. Thank you very much for coming on board. We are going to be in the Steam sale, guys, so if you haven't made a purchase yet, please, that sale is coming up. Yeah, there's great opportunity. We're going to be a good discount for the duration of the sale. We have an amazing discount for the flash sales that happen, for a certain amount of time. Looks like... Okay, so got a lot of good stuff, so definitely check out, let your friends know. We'll have hopefully we'll have another update ready by next week. I'm crossing my fingers that we'll be in a good place. Otherwise, thank you very much. We appreciate all the feedback. It's great. It's a great community, one of the best communities that I've had the privilege of working with in my 20 years of being a developer in this industry, and I thank you. And I appreciate you guys being so helpful. It means a lot, especially to all the new people that'll be coming onto the project to help out. It's just good. It's good to have people that are really into the game. Seeing anybody that's played the game over 20 hours, I'm always impressed. Anybody that's played the game over 10 hours, I'm still, I'm impressed. For those guys that have put in 100, 200 hours now, whew, you guys are awesome. And so, thank you.
All right, and since we're in such a giving mood because we love you guys, I'm actually going to tag on and just use a couple more of our entrants to give away some more copies of Savage Lands. So let's see. Kika, at Kika won the copy of Metroside, so make sure that you message me and I will get that out to you. And now, for a couple more copies of Savage...
I just gave away a ton of stuff.
Well, that's good. Because we like giving away stuff. We think it's awesome.
We
love being able to share with you guys.
A ton of stuff. All right, there we go.
All right. Why didn't you... There we go. And one more winner. One more winner. All right.
Oh, I'm starving. Son of a gun. Thank you, guys. I don't even pay attention.
Well, we knew that. All right, so
I am
the
starving.
winners
I can get some fajitas.
Olger, Shulkin, Zwigan, Roughnecks, and Meserliptic J. Oh my gosh, that's a long name and also complicated. So congratulations to all the winners. Thank you so much for joining us today. Chris, can I do my final words now? I can?
Go right ahead, Chloe.
Okay, all right. He's still going to tag team me at the end. So thank you very much for joining us and following us today here on Twitch. We absolutely appreciate it. Please make sure that you click the follow button. That way you can get notified every time that we do go live. We do stream live every Thursday. We stream Savage Lands every Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific time. As you guys may have noticed, because I updated the shiny little offline image that now actually says that. Go me and my photoshopping skills. You can also find us on the official website, which is savagelandsgame.com. Follow us on Twitter at savagelandsgame.com, and on Facebook at facebook.com/savagelandsgame. You can tell we are very consistent with our naming. You can also find us on the Steam forums, and there are 2 additional resources if you guys need help. You've got the wiki, the official wiki, which is contributed to, well, by you guys and for you guys. Sean and Deb have done an amazing amount of work on making sure that the layout is all cool, and there's a bunch of information. So if you're interested or you have a question, please, please, please use that as your best resource. All of the information that is in the game is there, as well as a whole bunch of the lore that Chris has talked about in streams has also been put into that. So if you're curious about some of the named mobs, you can actually go there and read about them now. And eventually they'll be in the game and you can read it there, but you know, early access, we're working on it. Finally, the best place for you to be able to get your voice heard and have a discussion about the way you would like to see things implemented is our Trello board. And we've talked about it a little bit today, but please, if you are wanting to make sure that your favorite idea gets in there, go in and vote on it. You can use the little search bar feature up at the top and just put in a couple keywords. And if it exists in the main list for active voting, you can go and click on that and it'll take you directly to it. If you don't see the idea that you would really like to see added pop up in the search function, you can add you can suggest it on the card that says can't find something, add it here. And then what happens is every time, a couple times a week, I go through those and add or link people. If they've made a suggestion that's already on the list, I will link it to you guys so you can actually find it and go vote on it. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming today and putting up with our slightly late because of technical issues, which we still don't understand. Thank you, everybody, for joining and taking part, for all of your questions. Osiris, once again, thank you so much for those codes. That was really awesome of you. And we hope that we will see you guys next week, either here or in game.
Whoa! I got to do my final word. What was? What was? Oh, that was. I see what you. That was fantastic, Chloe. That was.
Thank you.
I mean, I was.
Now you can totally.
Can I top that? I don't even think I can top that. That was pretty darn good. So special shout out to the torchbearer Salver. I appreciate you coming and lighting the path for everybody. You kept our group together. We came. We slayed Helion. Salver got the blade for his epic, for his efforts. And guys, next stream we'll try to do cool stuff. I'll try to get some more creatures in and try to take you around the world. It was a little bit longer than I anticipated. I did get slightly lost, but we managed to find an Easter egg in the process, in addition to everybody getting some cool stuff and dropping loot, and super happy. So fajitas, yes, I'm so hungry.
Yeah, but now they want fajita. They want you to add fajitas to the game.
Oh no!
That's why they're calling for fajitas.
Not yet. Soon, maybe.
We
Sausages
don't have
first.
anything to make bread out of.
We have actually a lot of food stuff that we haven't put in yet. Believe it or not, we have a lot of food items that I'm still got it in time. So anyway, thank you everybody. Appreciate everybody coming out. Once I'm done here, I'm going to set up a public server, Signal Studios public server. I'll reinitiate the server. A lot of people have been doing a lot of cool stuff, building stuff. So go ahead and jump back in and you can play. Thanks again for all your support. Again, we're going on sale with the Steam sale, so tell your friends. We got some really cool deals, and join our community. We're a good team. We got a great community, and if you're new and you're on the fence, I think you'll really like it. We got a lot of people very knowledgeable about the game, scary knowledgeable about the game, but in a good way. And it's a great place to be. We try to have a lot of fun and try to do something other games aren't doing, and hopefully it's working. I think it's working. I think people really like what we do, Chloe. So
I think so too.
Thank you very much, and until next week, everybody. We'll be there for the Steam sale.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
See you next week.
Boop. All right, I gotta figure out how to do this again. All right.
I'm gonna make a great big huge button for you when I'm done.
All right, there we go. Got it.
Yes.